What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Laughing Man Network's Fantasycast. It's week 12. It's getting almost to the end of the season here. I got to apologize to y'all. I wasn't able to get a video out at the end of last week. Had some family issues on my mind. A lot of things going on. I wasn't in the right headspace. Couldn't give y'all sits and starts if, I'm not feeling it. If my head's not there, it wouldn't be right for me to go out there and make calls that I don't feel right making. So, to kick today's video off, guys, we're going to do a giveaway. I love hot sauce. Anyone who knows me knows I love hot sauce and I love my hot takes. So in honor of those hot takes, I'm going to give away a bottle of Al's Backyard hot sauce. Handmade, fresh grown peppers, straight out of New Orleans. A friend of mine makes probably the best sauce I think I've ever had. And I want to go ahead and I want to pass a bottle on to y'all. To win a bottle, go on my video, this video, or any of the videos I do in the next week, or on the WrestleCast. Subscribe to the channel. Send a screenshot to laughingmanfb@gmail.com, and that'll qualify you for one entry. If you want more entries, comment on the video, comment on the WrestleCast video, comment on my next video, all the way up until Thursday kickoff of week 13. I will put all the entries into a randomizer, and whoever wins will get to go on the Al's Backyard website. That's alsbackyardsauce.com and pick a sauce or jelly of your choice. They have some really good stuff over there. So, costs you nothing. Just go on the bottom, comment, send a screenshot of your subscription, and you could win a free bottle of hot sauce. As an addition to the giveaway, we're going to do an extended grand prize. This will extend all the way to week 17, kickoff of the championship week. Leave a comment, send me your pictures of your subscriptions to the channel, and you'll win a t-shirt and a 3-pack backyard sampler of the 3 most popular sauces that he has on sale on his website. That's a $50 value that I'm giving you guys for free. Just like, comment, subscribe. Every comment will get you an entry. Your subscription gets you an entry. End of the season, free stuff. Stick around, tune in, win some hot sauce. So with the giveaway out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this week's sits and starts. We're going to try a slightly different format this week. I'm going to give you a sit, and then I'm going to give you a start directly after for each position. Starting off, we have quarterbacks. I'm sitting Jared Goff. He's playing Buffalo this week. He hasn't been very good. Past 3 weeks, he's got 15 points, 15 points, 6 points. It's not going to do it. You're probably in crunch time. It's time to make it to the playoffs. I don't know if you can trust Goff. If you have another position you can play down there, maybe you have a strong flex. I'd even go ahead and play them in your super flex this week. I'd try to avoid Goff at all costs this week. He's got 26 attempts for the past 5 games. That's not going to get you into the playoffs. Go ahead and sit Goff this week. You sit in Goff, I'd go ahead and start Jacoby Brissett. He's playing Tampa Bay. He's got 24 points a game the past 3 games. This might be the last game that he plays. You got Watson coming in. This is going to be his last hurrah, and he's already playing pretty well. He may have to keep up with Tampa Bay, so go ahead and play Brissett. I think you're going to get some good points out of him this week. It's your last chance to start him. Go ahead, throw him out there. I think he'll be good for you in your super flex. Next sit, Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton had a few bad weeks. He came back this past week, had a good game. He had 21 of 25 for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns. This guy's so up and down. The offense doesn't really know what it's doing week to week. Past 3 weeks were 12 points, 7 points, 28 points. You can't trust that. Too much fluctuation, especially right now when you're trying to make the playoffs. You need your wins. I'm not trusting Dalton versus San Francisco. They have a pretty good defense. They get after the quarterback, and Andy Dalton can't move. This might be a game that's best if maybe they started Taysom Hill or something, but don't go throw Dalton out there. Starting in his place, go with Taylor Heineke. Playing against Atlanta, he's had 2 bad games, but the past game, he beat Philadelphia. It was kind of a weird ending, but he beat him. Didn't have great production, but I think they're going to bounce back. I think they're going to take that momentum. Atlanta's not a great defense. Heineke has some ability. I think you're looking at a bounce back game from him, so go ahead and stick him in your super flex. Moving on to running backs. Sits. Donta Foreman playing against Denver. Denver's got a good defense. He was 11 for 24 yards this past week. That's not going to get it done. 2 points is not going to get it done. Looks like they're going back to Baker Mayfield. You don't know who the quarterback's going to be game to game now. Foreman can get game scripted out. He's not involved in the passing game. I'm not willing to roll Foreman out against Denver. He may have better games after this, but don't play him this week. In his place, I'll go Latavius Murray versus Carolina. Carolina does not have a great defense. They're young. They may have a bright future, but they're not great. They have some playmakers, but they still allow some yards. They still allow some points. Melvin Gordon was just released by Denver, so Latavius Murray is the last man standing in that backfield. Edmonds got a high ankle sprain. I think they have Marlon Mack. Go ahead and play Latavius Murray. I'm fine with it. He had 17 points this past week. He's getting 11.5 points per game. He's involved in the passing game. Go ahead and play him. I think you can flex him probably rest of the season at this point. Back to sits. I'm going to go Isaiah Pacheco. Playing against the Rams. The Rams aren't an awful defense. Pacheco had a breakout game. He had 15 carries for 107 yards, 11.5 fantasy points. Not great as far as points go, but he's the clear lead back in this backfield. My only issue is with Kansas City. I'm still not trusting the backfield. That offense is still going to go through Mahomes. I believe Juju's going to come back. Tony might be gone now, but I don't know if I'm trusting that backfield. I want to see another week of solid production from Pacheco before I start flexing him. So I'm willing to go ahead and sit him this week against the Rams. In his place, I'll go ahead and play Brian Robinson. He's playing against Atlanta. He had 15 for 57 in week 11. It's not great, but it was a tough game. I think Brian Robinson's going to have a better production against Atlanta. It's not going to be Philadelphia. He just couldn't get it going against Philadelphia. They don't allow a lot of room to offenses. So go ahead and play him this week against Atlanta. I think you're looking at a bounce back. I think you're looking at a touchdown, and you could be looking at 12 to 15 points easily. Wide receivers sit. I'm going with Christian Watson. Dude's been on fire, but he's playing against Philadelphia this week, which means he's going to have either Bradbury or Slay on him. I don't know if he's ready for that smoke. He's really talented. He's really raw, though, still. Even though they may make some plays that are going to get him open, but I'm not trusting it. I'm going to go ahead and sit him this week, even though he had 4 touchdowns in the past 3 games. Go ahead and sit him if you have another option. You probably, or you should. Christian Watson didn't start producing until a few weeks ago, so you should have someone else on your bench that you could slip in. But if you can avoid him, go ahead and avoid him. Starting, I'm going with Jacoby Myers. He's playing against Minnesota. This past week against the Jets, he had 9 points. He had 6 targets, and the Jets have a really good pass defense. So he was able to put up some decent production against them. Minnesota is not that same animal. Minnesota can be thrown on. They can be run on a bit. Look for Jacoby Myers to get back into the swing of things. Look at him to get 6 to 8 targets, and I'd expect him to get clean over 10 points this week. Back to sits. I'm going with Mooney. Mooney's playing against the Jets. He's going to get Juice Robinson. I don't know if I trust that. Jets have a really good pass defense. He's averaging 13 points the past 4 games, but I'm just not willing to flex him this week, especially when you have Fields, who is dealing with an injury and probably won't play this week. He separated his shoulder or dislocated his shoulder this past week. Go ahead and sit Mooney. Wait to see what happens over there. You might be able to play him after that, but that's not a good matchup with the Jets. And then down the stretch, he doesn't have a good matchup. He's got week 14 bye. Then he plays Buffalo and Philly. Just avoid Mooney right now. Starting in his place, I'm going to go with Paris Campbell. Paris Campbell is playing against Pittsburgh. He's got 15 targets the past 2 games. He's got 20 points, 12 points the past 2 weeks. Matt Ryan's back. Matt Ryan likes throwing him the ball. Paris Campbell is healthy. So go ahead and play him. He's getting the production. He's the clear number 2 over there. And Pittman, at the moment, he may still have some trouble with separation. He's still going to be getting top coverage. Going to leave Paris Campbell open. Go ahead and start him this week. Another wide receiver sit. I'm going with DJ Moore versus Denver. Again, Denver's got a good defense. We don't know what's going on with the Carolina offense. We don't even know who the quarterback's going to be week to week, like we said, or half to half, quarter to quarter. I traded for DJ Moore. I took a shot, thought maybe he was making a turn. He's not. Go ahead and bench him. 5.5 points the past 3 games on average. Just no. No. Starting, I'm going with Donovan Peoples-Jones, playing against Tampa Bay. As I said, they're going to have to keep up possibly. Brissett, it's his last game, so expect him to just unleash it. DPJ has 14.5 points a game for the past 3. He's already been producing, and I expect him to continue to produce more when Watson comes back. But for this game, I think you're looking at solid flex production again. Expect him and Brissett to have a good game. Tight ends, I'm going to go ahead and sit Juwan Johnson this week. Playing against San Francisco. He's got 14 points a game the past 3 games. He's been having a really good season overall. He had a few games where he was injured, missed a few. Early on, he wasn't used as much, but he's really coming on strong. He's getting about 3.5 targets a game, but I think you can go ahead and sit him this week. Saints had their good week last week, and it looks to be very up and down. So I'm not going to trust him against San Francisco. I think he's going to have trouble getting open. Starting at tight end, I'm taking a shot here. I'm going to go ahead with Austin Hooper. I traded for Hooper in Dynasty last week with an emergency. He came through for me, scored me 19 points. He's playing against Cincinnati this week. He's got 10 points and 19 points the past 2 weeks. Looks like Tennessee is starting to use him a little more. He's a really good tight end, but they just haven't been able to get any of their wide receivers going, so they have to find another option. I think Hooper is a solid tight end, and I think he may be able to continue to produce you some back-end tight end 1 production some weeks, high-end tight end 2 production, but I think he can fill in for you, especially with buys in this late in the season. Go ahead and play Hooper in your tight end position if you're in a 12, 14-team league and you really need a tight end this week. Going over to sits, Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet has been doing really well the past few games, but he's playing against the Jets this week. As we said, again, Jets have a really good pass defense. He's got 5 touchdowns over the past 4 games, but again, we might be missing Justin Fields, so I can't trust Kmet right now. Can't trust that offense besides Fields. And Kmet's been relying on those touchdowns. So just go ahead and fade Kmet this week. Wait for Fields to come back. See what happens. But I'm not willing to throw him out there. Starting, going back to Gerald Everett. A lot of people are probably still going to throw Gerald Everett in there, even though he's had a bad few weeks. He got hurt last week or week before. He's playing against Arizona. Arizona is one of the back-end teams in tight end defense. Expect Everett to find some openings. Mike Williams is hobbled again. You have Keenan Allen back. Josh Palmer's been tearing it up, but he got a little banged up this past week. Expect Everett to come back, get back to his usual self. About 10 points per game was his average, but he's got a game where he got hurt. He had another game he got hobbled. I expect Everett to come back and be that solid back-end tight end 1 that you need for the rest of the season. So go ahead and start him this week against Arizona, especially against that defense, who just got scorched by George Kittle. So go ahead and play Everett. So that's it, guys. That's going to wrap up Week 12 sits and starts. I had to get this video out early for you since we have some games coming up on Thanksgiving Day. It's probably my favorite day of football each year. Go Cowboys. But remember, guys, check out alsbackyardsauce.com. I'll put a link down in the description. I'll describe the contest. Make sure you go like, comment, subscribe, send those screenshots to laughingmanfb@gmail.com. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, if you have any sit-start questions, trade questions, dynasty questions, or just want to let me know how I can improve the channel. Let me know in the comments, and every one of those comments, remember, will go into the drawing for your bottle of hot sauce and your t-shirt and package grand prize at the end of the season. So until next time, guys, good luck.